Next destination, Edinburgh Airport.
We got us a little SUV, and off we go. 1 week of road tripping through the Scottish Highlands and Islands. So it's quite late now already. Our first duty of this day is actually to just find a sleeping spot, which we found at a cozy little river, which is actually located close to Glencoe. And now we're driving up the infamous mountain pass of Glencoe, which is actually one of the most beautiful streets in whole Scotland. Look at those views of the mountain. Simply stunning. And just by chance we found there are actually Highland games going on. They were directly on our way, so we didn't want to miss it. Highland games. And first stop of the trip, Isle of Skye. The classic Scottish inhabitants, sheeps all over the place and roaming freely on the street. We found on Google Maps a little cave. It was officially listed, but it was a bit dodgy to get there. And you're only getting there during low tides, otherwise the whole path is flooded. And there was no one else around, so a bit sketchy, but actually really fun to get to. And we even made a good use of our headlights. Absolutely crazy experience. Definitely a cave to remember. And the beauty about Scotland is you have the right to roam, so you're allowed to camp almost anywhere if not on private property and if you're careful of the nature. And of course the obligatory whiskey and cigar can't be missed out. In Scotland, a hobby is called Munro bagging, which means you won't try to hike a mountain which is higher than 3,000 feet or around 914 meters. So that was a goal for the day, to hike up a Munro, which we finally made it. Blavane, check. A quick layover for lunchtime in Portree, which is famous for the little cute colored houses. And then did a second small hike for the day, which was up to the Old Man of Store. And we were just super lucky with the weather. Perfect sun shining on it, which is really rare. The first time I've been there was much cloudier and almost impossible to see it. A legendary rock pinnacle, freely standing, overlooking the sea. And definitely not a bad view to go to sleep with. And here at Encoran Beach, a few million years ago, was actually dinosaurs roaming around on it, and there are around 15 dinosaurs traces. So there's little hunting where you can try to find all of them. Hike number 3, up to the Cry Ring. And here in our head was really like the Lord of the Rings music. Running around on the high plateau. Really felt like an epic adventure we had. And now we went to my favorite spot on the island, the Nice Point Lighthouse. And we set actually our camp directly with a view of it, which was beautiful. To wake up the next morning, view onto the lighthouse, before heading out to the Talisker Distillery and then leaving the island. So we didn't know exactly the story behind it, but there was like a yacht stranded in the water when we looked out of a castle. Beautiful shots. But we had the next goal in our mind. So we had to drive south, find a sleeping spot for the night, where we even saw some dolphins swimming just by the coast. Now in the morning we do a quick stop at Duntroon Castle, because we're already in the area. It was famous for us with this deer antler entrance, but actually it's private property, so it was the closest we could get, but they actually had a nice garden around. But the goal of the day was taking the ferry. There was island number 2, Islay, which is where all the smoky whiskey actually comes from. So both of us love the smoky whiskey, so it's a dream of us to visit. And we started number 1, Carl Ela, one of the favorite from my brother. Did some shopping. And then we found one of the most prominent animals of Scotland, the Highland cow. Distillery number 2, Ardnahoe. It's one of the actually newer distilleries on the island, and they just had a release of a 5-year-old and even won prizes for it. And then we were off to number 3, Bunnahabhain. Got a free sample, which was nice because I was just a passenger. And found a little cute lunch spot on the beach where I just took a quick rest before heading out to the next distillery. And then we were off to number 4, Bruichladdich. Little fun fact about this distillery, they also home of the Botanist gin, one of the most famous gins in the world. That's a cute little fun fact about it. And the next one is same day, Kilchoman. The year before, we bought a bottle of Kilchoman, and we're really pleased and surprised about the quality of this great whiskey. So obviously we had to get there, visit the distillery, take a look around, and really like the area with the old little abandoned church. So we're also looking for a nice spot for the night, which was directly located literally on the beach. And the little windbreaker of rocks next to it because it was quite windy on that day. So we got quite lucky, but definitely was an amazing spot directly on the beach. But it was really a fun time. Cooked between the rocks, had some beer, looked out on the ocean. And yeah, it was amazing. It was one of my favorite camp spots for the week. And the next morning we visited Beaumont, a legend in the field. It's actually the oldest running distillery on Islay. It's from 1779 actually. And that was by far the most expensive bottle with 35 grand. That's crazy. There was the longest, straightest street in whole UK. Leading up to Lagavulin Distillery. And it's beautifully located directly at the coast. We booked here a tour, and by chance it was just the two of us, so it was a private tour of the whole distillery, plus the obligatory picture in front of the big name mural, and a private tasting afterwards. But it was not the end of the tour. Actually, we were allowed to sample our own whiskey, bottle it up, make the label, and then have a really special memory of this day and this cast. And at night we actually had a perfect sleeping spot right in front of the distillery, the opposite side. It will be a memory I'll definitely cherish forever. And close by were actually some seals laying on the warm rocks. And the next morning we went down to Ardbeg. So with Ardbeg I also have a special memory because it was the first smoky whiskey my dad gave me growing up. So I always think about those memories when seeing a bottle or drinking the whiskey. So most distilleries are just 5 minutes driving from each other. So last but not least, Lafroy. Quarter cask is by far my favorite whiskey, super smoky. So I said, okay, we have to get definitely a tour of this distillery. All the peat, you could see the kiln, and also the barrels where they actually store the whiskey. And the really cool part is we've always seen the bottles in supermarkets. Now we actually know where they are produced. What's an SUV without little off-road fun?
Get your motor running. Head out on the highway, looking for adventure, and whatever comes our way. Yeah, I gotta go make it happen. Take the world in a loving embrace. Fire all of the guns and pumps and explode into space. I like smoking lightning, heavy metal thunder, racing with the wind, and the feeling that I'm under.
But that was already the end of Islay, unfortunately, so we had to take the ferry back, going back to the mainland. And drive towards Edinburgh Airport because we have a flight tomorrow morning. found our last sleeping spot directly at Loch Lomond. So the next morning was quite cold, so we just packed up everything. My brother quickly dipped into the lake. And then we were off to Edinburgh Airport. Such a fun trip and really packed for 8 days.